Hello everyone and welcome back to Scary Story. Grab your blankets, turn down the lights, and get ready because tonight we're taking a trip to a place where the past isn't just a memory. It's a resident. Imagine buying your dream home. You've saved up for years, found the perfect place with creaky wooden floors, charming vintage wallpaper, and a history that feels almost tangible. For the Peterson family, Mark, Sarah, and their two kids, Leo and Mia, this dream became a reality. They bought the old Blackwood Manor, a Victorian house on the edge of a quiet town, famous for its beauty and, as they would soon discover, its secrets. The first few weeks were blissful. They unpacked boxes, painted walls, and filled the old house with laughter. The kids loved exploring, finding hidden nooks and dusty attics. It was perfect, a little too perfect. The first sign that something was off was subtle. A misplaced set of keys, a door left ajar that Sarah was sure she had closed. Mark would brush it off. "It's an old house," he'd say. "It's just settling." But the settling started to get more specific. One evening, while tucking Mia into bed, she whispered, "Mommy, can you tell the lady in the white dress to stop singing? I'm trying to sleep." Sarah's blood ran cold. There was no lady. She checked the hallways, the other rooms, nothing. She told Mia it was just a dream, but the little girl's words echoed in her mind. A few days later, Leo came running downstairs, his face pale. He'd been playing in the attic and found an old, leather-bound diary. It belonged to a woman named Alara, who lived in the house over a century ago. As Leo read the first few pages, he learned of Alara's deep love for the manor and her heartbreak when her husband, a sea captain, was lost at sea. She wrote about waiting for him, singing his favorite lullaby by the window every night, hoping he would hear it and find his way home. That night, as a storm raged outside, the entire family heard it. A faint, sorrowful melody drifting down from the attic. It was the same lullaby Alara had written about in her diary. Mark, no longer a skeptic, grabbed a flashlight and led the way upstairs. The air in the attic was heavy and cold. The rocking chair by the window was gently swaying back and forth, as if someone had just gotten up. There was no one there. The activity escalated. They would hear footsteps pacing the upstairs hallway when everyone was downstairs. Objects would move on their own, a teacup sliding across the kitchen counter, a book falling from a shelf with no one near it. The scent of lavender, Alara's favorite flower according to her diary, would suddenly fill a room and then vanish just as quickly. It wasn't malicious, it felt sad. It was as if Alara's spirit was so intertwined with the house, so lost in her grief, that she was stuck in a loop, forever waiting for her husband to return. Sarah started talking to her. "Alara," she would say gently into the empty air, "he's not coming home. It's time to rest." Sometimes the activity would quiet down for a little while after she said this, as if Alara was listening. One afternoon, while researching the history of the house at the local library, Mark found an old newspaper article. It detailed the discovery of a shipwreck off the coast, the very ship captained by Alara's husband. But there was a detail in the article that Alara would have never known. The captain wasn't lost at sea. He had survived, making it to a nearby island where he lived for the rest of his days, unable to return home. He had never stopped loving Alara, but fate had kept them apart. Armed with this new information, the Petersons knew what they had to do. That evening, the family gathered in the attic. Mark held the old newspaper clipping. He read the article aloud, his voice steady and compassionate. He told Alara's story back to her, filling in the final chapter. He told her that her husband had survived, that he had loved her until his last breath, and that it was okay to let go, to finally find peace and perhaps be with him again. As he finished speaking, a profound stillness fell over the room. The cold spot by the window seemed to warm up. For the first time, the house felt truly quiet. The faint scent of lavender filled the air one last time, sweeter than ever before, and then it was gone. The Petersons never heard the lullaby again. The footsteps stopped, and the misplaced object stayed put. The house was no longer haunted. It was just a home, filled with the love of a new family. They had bought a house with a history, and in the end, they had helped that history find its peaceful conclusion. They didn't just live in Blackwood Manor. They had healed it. Sometimes a haunted house isn't about fear. It's about a story that needs an ending, a soul that needs to be heard. The Petersons learned that compassion can be the key that unlocks even the most ancient and sorrowful of chains. Thank you so much for joining me for this story. What would you have done in their situation? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to Scary Story for more tales from the other side. Stay safe and see you next time.